Hi everybody. So I'm gonna let you guys in on a secret. Your head, your mind only has past information and uses that against you. Your mind is not able to see past what it knows. Okay? All the information in your head is information derived from your past, from what you have experienced, from what you have seen, from what you have known. Okay? That's all your mind has access to. Your mind cannot have access to future information. That has to come from your spirit. So what happens is, because your mind only has access to past information, right? It leaves you running around in circles, because all it can repeat to you, all you can call forth from your mind, all you can see is either the past experience or the results of those past experiences. That's all. So you cannot escape your mind by using it, because you gotta understand that your mind is a tool. Okay, your mind is a tool. The reason why your mind is a tool is that you are able to conceive and conceptualize with it. In other words, you are able to create pictures with your mind. And when I'm talking about pictures, I'm talking about imagination. Okay, but if you are not, or let me say this way, if you don't know how to listen to your spirit, right, and get information from your spirit, all that is going to be the fruit of your mind process is pictures, images, thoughts, feelings, ideas that are all a result of the past. There is nothing futuristic in the mind, nothing at all. That is why when you are trying to change, or you're trying to grow, or you're trying to transcend a level of being, right, your mind becomes your greatest enemy. Because every time you take one step forward, it reminds you of why that step forward will fail. Because in the past, you did this before and it failed. Therefore, your mind becomes your enemy. But it shouldn't be that way. Because you need to learn how to differentiate what originates from the mind and what originates from the soul. The first telltale sign is that the soul will never speak to you in fear, because the soul knows no fear. Fear is the language of the mind. And why is the mind afraid? Because the mind is afraid of that which it does not know. So once you step into a territory of that which the mind does not know, or that which the mind is afraid of, it triggers fear. Spirit never speaks with fear, ever. That's your first telltale sign right there, that you're dealing with the mind, not the spirit. And that also is the telltale sign that that which you're hearing, you should disregard. Does this make sense? Another thing I'm also going to share is that the human body is divided in 3 compartments. The head, which is differentiated from the body via the neck. So the head is actually a total entity on its own. Have you ever felt the disconnect between your emotions, which comes from your heart, and your logic, which comes from your mind? Both can function independently. Both can function in a confusing way, where the head constantly overrules the heart, or the heart constantly overrules the head. And you know, because we live in a material world, and the earth and the head functions with what it can see, feel, or touch, it gives it great power to overrule the gentle nudgings of the soul, to overrule the emotions of the heart. Why? Because those gentle nudgings and the motions of the heart aren't things you can see, taste, or touch. Does that make sense? So the mind, the head, is a separate entity on its own. The head is a separate entity. It can function independent of the spirit and of the soul. It can function all by itself. But the downside of it is that it is rooted in materiality. It's rooted in what it can see, taste, touch. So it binds you, and also is also only rooted in the past. So it binds you to the past by making you repeat your past in your future. Now, the second part of the soul, of the human body, is the torso area. And then the third part is the legs, the limbs, which is disconnected from the torso area by the by the hip. So the torso area is where your heart resides. And the heart is a symbolic organ of the life of the person, because the heart pumps the blood, and the act of pumping of the heart is in sync with the symbolic pulsating of life in the being. So that when somebody is in tune with their spirit, they don't listen with their head, they feel. And I had an experience yesterday where I was told something, because usually when I hear in my head, like I hear inside my head, not with my ears, but I hear it with more than my ear. But yesterday I had an experience where I heard with my entire being. It's like, the only way I can describe it is, it's like you are underwater and somebody is able to say something to you in the water, like I don't know if it's possible, but when you hear it with your entire being. The word they speak is heard not just with your ear, but with your entire being. So your heart is an organ for listening. Every part of your torso area. So, and then your legs is a different part of you. So when it comes to living your life, you have to understand that your head is the oldest part of the human, the brain. And actually the human is the goal of the future of the humanity is to transcend the physical nature of the human being. In other words, to transcend looking at what we see, feel, hear, touch alone as our only way of relating with the world. It's more of now being able to use our feelings and our emotions and our sensing of the spirit to inform our brain. So let me tell you how it works in practical life. So let's say you are dating a man, you meet a new guy, and you begin to fall in love with the guy, and you are anxious, you are terrified, and your insecurity is triggered. Now, what I would do in that situation is that I'm going to sit down with myself and I'm going to say, okay, you got to first acknowledge what you're feeling now. Because if you don't acknowledge what you're feeling, then you've given that thing the tool to use you. Because the first sign of self-awareness is the acknowledgement of what you're feeling. So first of all, you got to say to yourself, okay, I feel fear. I'm insecure at this point. I feel sad. I feel afraid. That's true. Right? But what do I feel in my soul? Do I feel a peace in my soul? Do I feel like I should proceed? Right? And most times, if you're walking in the right direction, your mind hasn't been there before, so your mind is going to be terrified. But your soul is at peace, right? So you be like, okay, I'm going to go with my soul. And you stop listening to this. Because to continue to listen to this is a repetition of the past. To continue to be triggered by emotions that come from this would only lead to a repetition of the past. Because this right here only has access to past information. It does not have access to future information. It can only repeat itself like a broken record in different forms, in different situations, with different people, but the same shit. Until you bring this mind to the subjection of your soul. You tell this mind, I tell you what to do. You don't tell me what to do. Okay?